Why they on me out flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key at Honest, Pine Rider. I get those goosebumps every time. Come around, yeah. You be so mine, you make everything so kind. Worry about those times. I'm wasting on ya. You wasting on ya. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimler, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side. When I'm pulling up right beside you, pop star Lil Mariah. When I text kick game wireless, throw it back on the Bible. Never Snapchat or just she fall through plenty, her and all her guineas. Yeah. We at this top floor right there off Duini. Yeah. Oh no, I can't with y'all. Yeah, when I'm with my squad, I cannot do no wrong. Yeah, something in the city, don't get misinformed. Yeah, they gon' pull up on you. Yeah, we gon' do some things you can't relate. Yeah, cause we from a place you cannot stay. Or you can't go, or I don't know. Or back the f*** off. I get those goosebumps every time. Come around, yeah. You be so mine, you make everything so fine. Worry about those times. I'm wasting on ya. You wasting on ya. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimler, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts, find a location near you, now.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. it's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Craving comfort fresh food made from scratch daily? Check out Aspen Creek Grill. Located across from Hamilton Town Center and beside the Holiday Inn, we offer family farm-raised premium Black Agnes steaks hand-cut daily, creamy pastas, salmon chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Start with our famous powwow shrimp appetizer and don't miss our refreshing drinks. Family-friendly or a great night out with friends. Aspen Creek Grill. Aspen Creek Grill, Noblesville. Call 317-559-3300.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. He said he loved me. My friends told me it wasn't a big deal. They thought he was so cool, but they didn't know what he wanted me to do.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. You have no idea the kind of pressure I felt to take things to the next level. Things were moving so fast. I was basically the only person in the freshman class who hadn't done it yet. So, we did.
I loved him.
I thought she loved me.
My health class had CPR at school. I stayed after class to talk with the instructor about it. They showed me that it didn't have to be that way.
They showed me that I get to make my own choices.
There is another way.
That's the best thing CPR gives you. Another way. A better way.
A healthy way. Sometimes you don't see it because you're in your own world, but they don't make you feel bad. They talk to you like a real person, and they save kids from really unhealthy decisions. They tell the truth, and they know what they're talking about. So yeah, my life was different. I started to choose the better way.
I honestly don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing had it not been for CPR.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
High school sports fans, welcome back to game time, to pure spirit, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is game time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
After the Marine Corps, I was diagnosed with PTSD and became homeless for 15 years. Like a hermit living on the street, I just existed. I came to Wheeler Mission. Wheeler operates on a culture of kindness. Going through their programs reminded me that my meaning in life is to serve God. God set me free from anxiety and depression. Before Wheeler, I just existed, but today I live.
Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts, find a location near you, now.
Hey conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks. We're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
These guys are fired up. Our crew is fired up. Game one's coming your way next.
Among the setting sun in Fishers, Indiana, lies Hamilton Southeastern, the host of tonight's matchup. For the IHSLA, it is the Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles visiting the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Morales Group, Piper Logistics, Reynolds Farm Equipment, Bertner Electric, and IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences. And the sponsors for today's host, Hamilton Southeastern, TechLight Corporation, Rebar Development, CPM Construction, Stacy Till, your mortgage mama, and Form Credit Union. Two teams arrive at Hamilton Southeastern undefeated in Class 2A. Guerin Catholic seeking to prove itself in Class 2A and its reason for belonging, and Hamilton Southeastern seeking to improve its dominance another chance to prove why they belong. Hello, everyone. Alongside my broadcast partner, Henry Huth, I'm Joey Lindstrom. And Henry, a top-tier matchup between two teams set to do battle and prove different things for each other. Guerin Catholic, the runners-up in Class 1A last season. They move up to 2A. Hamilton Southeastern having to defend the Den tonight.
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me on here. It's really going to be an interesting time. We've got Guerin, who's on the hunt for some retribution. They were falling short in the championship game, but after moving up, they're hungry. It's going to be looking pretty good, so I'm excited to get them out here and get us started.
Guerin Catholic coached by Charlie Berry. Last year, you mentioned it, losing in the state championship. He said this was an offseason like none other. They had kids immediately in June after losing that game saying, Coach, we want to work. We want to get back to the weight room. We want to get stronger. We want to get better. We want to hit the wall. And he has seen the improvement. Preseason went very well. They're off to a good start, 2-0 already. They've lost some seniors from last season, now trying to rebuild a little bit.
They are, and as you said, they're hungry. They were even asking to be working and hitting the gym over Christmas break. I mean, I don't remember doing that when I was in high school. Right. So it's pretty good. These guys they've got a lot of heat in their system. And so, yeah, you're right, though. There are a lot of incoming freshmen, some younger guys that are going to be here, but as well as Hamilton Southeastern. And so, it's going to be a real matchup here.
You like a lot of different things about Guerin Catholic, particularly on the offensive side. Evan Bear, Peyton Butts, and Vince Elliott line their attackmen.
Yeah, Evan Bear and Peyton Butts, they were our leading goal scorers as of right now. We've got 8 goals this year for Bear and 6 for Peyton Butts. I like how Evan Bear, he's moving back there. He's always like a quarterback. He's got eyes everywhere, and he's kind of like a hawk waiting for someone to come in so he can just dump for the quick dish. And then Peyton Butts, he's just a big body. I mean, he's, a force to be reckoned with. That guy's like running into a brick wall, which is something you don't want to have happen to you. We've got some other guys, such as the freshman Vince Elliott. He's scrappy, but boy, is he athletic. And, he really finds himself in the right spot at the right time. He's waiting for defenders to kind of catch off guard so he can sneak in here for the quick dump. And he's also really not afraid to use that left hand, which is hard thing to find coming from a freshman in middle school. I mean, the fact that he's already got his left hand is going to be great for him down the road, and it's already paying off right now. So we've got some exciting attackmen here for us.
On the Hamilton Southeastern side, Scott Beasley's squad coming off a great weekend. They hold a 44 goals for to 9 goals against so far through 3 games. Very impressive showing out of this team. And these guys bring power in a lot of ways. They're led offensively by Owen O'Rourke, donning the Royal number 4 jersey for them. And he's really their leader on offense along with Shane Gastineau.
Yeah, talk about electric. Holy cow. I don't know if we're waiting to get down here or not. But he's really one that's going to be an interesting sight to see today, following with his brother on defense. All right. Dylan O'Rourke, those two are going to be working off each other really well, offense, defense, hopefully getting some passes down and whatnot. And, he's going to be a real star this day, hopefully, and for the rest of the season.
Another guy who shines for this team, David Gould, had 4 goals in their first game this season against Center Grove. Now an opportunity to prove again why he's a freshman to be reckoned with.
Yeah, these guys, they've got some real talent coming in here. I mean, I don't remember having that either when I was on high school. I mean, these freshmen are coming in, they're taking over, and they are hot. So,
Hamilton Southeastern, another team that loses a lot of talent due to graduation. You have Garrett Smith, Connor Runo, Mike Mataliano, Loudon Sunling, Blaine Wirtz. That was all those goal scorers from the state championship team. They're back-to-back state champions looking to make it a 3rd. Scott Beasley feeling awfully confident about it.
I sure hope so, man. I mean, they've got nothing to worry about it by the looks of it. Even with all this lost talent, there's just coming up more, and they're springing up like flowers. They're everywhere. So,
one team arriving to play against some of the best in the state, Guerin Catholic, playing visitor to Hamilton Southeastern. We'll be right back after our national anthem. You're watching IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, We can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
We welcome you back to this presentation of IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN. The Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles facing off against the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. Hello, everyone. I'm Joey Lindstrom alongside my broadcast partner, Henry Huth. Nick Lewis, our producer tonight, and Chuck Levine, our star cameraman. And we are set to bring you action as the goalies touch gloves. Let's talk about each of these goalkeepers. We'll start with the visiting Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles goalkeeper, Zane Coda, returning stud in between the sticks, Henry. Last year, 60% save percentage through 2 games already. He's got 71% saves, 22 on the young season so far.
Yeah, you know, this guy, he's one of their captains, and it's evident as to why. I mean, Zane's a real lead-by-example kind of guy. You know, he's really not afraid to be vocal. I mean, he's out here yelling up calls, and he's telling who's coma sliding, who should be doing this, and he's, you know, really kind of facilitating back there. He's doing very well, and no surprise that he's a
Kaiser,
big man.
Right, immediately wins that face-off. See our first loose ball push. Give us an avenue to talk about Colin Kreckler in between the pipes for Hamilton Southeastern. Headed to Wabash College next year. A guy who stands tall in the cage, and man, is he tough to beat on shots.
Yeah, literally, this guy's a rock and a rock, metaphorically and physically. Not only is he big, but he's really a good structure for this defense here.
Early shot from Guerin Catholic doesn't go. Good defense. That was Vince Elliott on the door, but Guerin Catholic gets it right back with another chance. Shot wide of the cage by Jake Heck. And he was one player that Charlie Berry is very high on. One of the youngsters last year, now morphing into what could be an impact player for Guerin. And not something we're used to seeing, Henry, out of this Hamilton Southeastern team. Defense in their first possession. So Guerin Catholic coming out aggressive to start the game.
That's good. That's what they're going to need, hopefully. But
Navarro works back up top. It's a Guerin Catholic team who 15 goals in both their games this season.
It's good these guys are holding on to offense first. You know, they're really kind of testing the waters here, seeing what their defense is capable of so they can analyze a weak link, hopefully, in terms of just pouncing.
It's great hustle by Brody Carlson, one of the close defenders on this Hamilton Southeastern team that needs to step up. You've seen him pass in there to Quinn Shefferly, but Shefferly can't hold on. So through the first 2 minutes, Guerin Catholic holds early possession. Large narrative for this team has been not to lose to Guerin Catholic. That's Guerin Catholic talking to Guerin Catholic.
Yeah.
Let's not beat ourselves is the message that Charlie Berry and his staff have put together. Right on the door, another shot wide of the cage. That's 4 attempts already at the net for Guerin Catholic. And that was Evan Bear. Talked about him in the open. Down early. Not sure what happened, but regardless, hope he's okay. Hamilton Southeastern is going to retain this possession.
It looked like he had a mean ice pick check coming down on him. Butt end from one of the Hamilton guys.
To explain that a little bit to those who might not know. So you take the opposite end of your stick and
it's
jam
not
through?
It's not the head. It's right on the butt of your stick. That thing, you can bring some real force down there. It's not very, it's not giving plastic like the head is.
A little bit harder to sustain.
Dude.
Clearing a big emphasis for Scott Beasley's team.
Yeah, one thing he was really trying to touch on was their rides, and, even though they lost it.
Taking no time to score, Max Kemp.
Yeah, Beasley was really talking about getting focused on these rides and making sure their clears are A1, and, it's clearly starting to work out, but even with the little blip in there.
Max Kemp was tied with Owen O'Rourke for the most goals this season so far. That is his 11th, tied no more. And Hamilton Southeastern, in seconds, they get their first goal on their first possession.
And Max Kemp is a sophomore this year. Starting on attack, 4 goals on 8 shots. Now he's...
That's a great start for this team. Picked up by O'Rourke. Hamilton Southeastern gains the possession. Gavin Wright at the face-off X for Hamilton Southeastern, working against Noah Kaiser.
Charlie Berry was telling us earlier that, one of the big differentiators between how they're going to perform is how aggressive they're on these ground balls. They got to really be aggressive when they're coming up with a team like Hamilton. So hopefully we see some good action when there's some goose eggs lying around.
Yeah, HSE has certainly compounded on its efforts on the GBs. 90 over 3 games this season. That is staggering. We're going to cross the way. Aaron pass. That's going to be a turnover. And Guerin Catholic yields the possession back.
These guys are getting some good looks, though. If you were to catch that, who would have known what would happen?
Kemp, the intended target, of course. And Zane Coda commanding this defense. And goalies are very important on the clear to get your team going back to the other side.
Oh, yeah. And, Zane's definitely one of those guys that you can trust moving up this with them together, adding an extra guy onto offense. So he's going to be a great asset on their rides and clears.
Charlie Berry's going to take the first timeout of our game today in an attempt to clear. Guerin Catholic clearing the way back. 8:25, HSE up early by 1. You're watching IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
It's very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Guerin Catholic beginning its clear halfway through the clock before their failure to advance. would wind down. And this is a team that, you said it earlier, Henry, being able to emphasize little things such as ground balls, defensive turnovers, clearing a big part of Charlie Berry's game plan, why it's worked for them so far. They got to get over here and get a touch.
Yeah, they're running down to the wire here. Hopefully we can get someone over here.
Yeah, Hamilton Southeastern, Caleb Johnson.
Squeaking in.
Yep, making the ride. Very known. Another prideful thing for Hamilton Southeastern is their ride on these clears. Big reason why they've had so much success. This is Jake Heck. Dodging is going to be at a premium for this Guerin Catholic team. Shefferly working against Bear, who's back out there. Kreckler with the save, standing tough. That's a low shot, too.
The switching planes of that high to low is what's going to really throw off here under this light and the darkness. Keeping it on the same plane is a little easier to see for a goalie. So
that's a good point. When you play at night, sometimes that can be a little bit harder to see as far as your depth perception. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, not only is it just hard to see up, but when you're reflecting off the bottom of your rails on your helmet or even off the ground a little bit, it's hard to see with these white lines running in. It's not always the easiest thing.
This is O'Rourke working out to Gastineau. He had the opening goal of the season against Center Grove last week. As the IHSLA home opener last Wednesday. Hamilton Southeastern cleared some of the snow to go play this Saturday as there's a save from Zane Cota. Aaron pass at the door. Man, that pass got interfered with. O'Rourke there to scoop.
That's a time when Zane has plenty of room. It's totally comfortable. Him just walking up there is something he should maybe look forward to next time. No need to rush anything, right?
What are some of the keys for you if you're Hamilton Southeastern right now on offense?
First I think they should start just getting it around, getting everyone a touch for it, working out some nerves and whatnot, getting started with a new team in their system. But
another save from Zane Cota.
Yeah, if we're working things around, getting opportunities, taking tests, they've got opportunities on all sides, from X, from up top, from the crease, and so I say just keep exploring.
It was an almost beautiful swim dodge from Teddy Johnson with the pole. But the air pass is now out of bounds. Hamilton Southeastern turns it over. Guerin Catholic with a chance to clear.
Here's a good save. Ooh, replay there. You can see he stuffed him like a turkey. No ball getting past me.
Enough of a hit. Thumping at the midfield. Brody Carlson making his presence felt. Both teams not letting up easily on their ride.
They're not. They're applying pressure, and they're applying pressure up on this field, which, if they're confident in it, not bringing anyone back, it's going to pull off for both of them.
This is Gavin Berry working at X against Max Abel, one of the veteran players that stuck around. Charlie Berry mentioned that this defense is a bit by committee. We're trying to figure out which combination works best amongst our LSMs and our close defenders, how they can do that. What better way to get that litmus test than against HSE? This is Max Kemp. Has a step. Cota got enough of it. O'Rourke lets it rip from 15.
He's got that far side hip down. It's one of the hardest shots to shoot. Most distance the goalie's moving. So
smooth with the left hand.
Threading the
is
needle.
Owen O'Rourke. Yet 11 goals on the season. First of the night and the second for HSE. Just opportunistic right here, Henry. So Guerin had the early possession right out the gate. Hamilton Southeastern now 2 goals unanswered. Another face-off win. One more pass. Oh, and Owen O'Rourke can't quite finish. Boy, that would have been a pretty sequence. Abel working against O'Rourke. Last year, these teams battled to a 9-3 finish in favor of the Royals.
Something you also see from Hamilton is when these guys are dodging from up top, they're winding all the way back to the 50-yard line practically. They're trying to get some head starts in, and something for Guerin definitely to be aware of.
Here is David Gould, stud freshman, already making his presence felt this season. Thought about the shot briefly. Another chance just outside.
David's starting the season off with 4 goals already. He's going to be hot.
He's a very, very talented freshman. Another guy who, since his youth days, he talked to some of the Hamilton Southeastern staff. They knew he was going to be a pretty solid player, and now he has the chance to show it at the varsity level. And making varsity outright is a huge accomplishment. O'Rourke, I think that was looking for a pass underneath at the door to John Pauls. When it goes awry, it passes out of bounds, and it'll go back to Guerin Catholic. Abel getting some trouble from Max Kemp.
Right there, Guerin could work on, bringing more of those guys back if our deep hole isn't finding anyone to pass to and he's getting double teamed. One thing is just, really strike back, run in as fast as you can, see for an opening around here so you can get a pass off. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it happen this time.
Working again in a step. One more pass. Beautiful hit. Out on the inside. J.D. Haskett. O'Rourke gets it back for Hamilton Southeastern. Royals looking for their 3rd goal. Just under 2.5 to play in our first quarter. Gould once again. Hamilton Southeastern looking to work it around, get everyone a touch as they get set up here. He's working against the shorty, J.D. Haskett. At the X. Draws the slide wide of the cage.
It's looking a little stressful for Guerin. It's been a lot of defense, though, thus far. But, they're still holding their own. This is still anyone's game. So,
yeah, just 2-0 early here in our first quarter. And Guerin Catholic had the early possession, and winning that first faceoff, we thought maybe that was going to be a point of emphasis for them tonight.
Yeah.
Now looking ahead, that pass deflected again by Haskett. Chasing it down, trying to save that. Adam McNeely.
But, there can just be some nerves there. I mean, this is their first game against a name like Hamilton, and so, we're still in the first period. Maybe they're just shrugging off some nerves before they really get into the gist of things.
Big way to shake off the nerves is getting a clear like this. Now this is Dominic Elliott. Gets the touch, and Guerin will set up. 1:20 to go in the first quarter. This is Cooper Navarro. Weren't sure if we were going to see too much of him. Has been battling some minor injuries.
Yeah, he was struggling with shin splints and then a little bit of a knee injury there. So we're glad to see that he's out here and playing. And, it doesn't look like he's got anything wrong with him right now.
No doubt. We're the other captain for this team as well. Elliott. It's back up top, Jake Heck. And Guerin will set up. They want to dodge from anywhere and everywhere. Teddy Johnson working ahead. Dominic Elliott has Caleb Johnson, the short stick defensive midfielder, slid on early by Dylan O'Rourke. Navarro lets one rip, and Kreckler is there to stop. Now Hamilton Southeastern's on the run. Caleb Johnson, final 15 seconds. O'Rourke underneath.
A last-second dump here.
Gastineau was at the door, and Zane Cota deflected.
Swing and a miss.
That is 4 saves already for Cota.
Make it 5.
Beautiful work as we wind down the final seconds of the first quarter. A competitive ball game so far. Hamilton Southeastern holds the edge through one, 2-0. You're watching IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN. We'll be right back.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
The lead so far for Hamilton Southeastern. Alongside Henry Huth, I'm Joey Lindstrom. This is a battle of 2 teams who are still trying to find their feet this season, but both squads that are trying to prove that they're not trying to rebuild, they're just reloading, and they have the talent to do so. Guerin Catholic loses a lot of seniors, as does Hamilton Southeastern, but both these teams very talented and competitive match so far.
Exactly. It's not necessarily that Hamilton has something to prove from coming back from championship wins, and it's not necessarily the fact that Guerin has something to prove for being the new stepper in town. And so, like you said, it's mostly just a reload. I mean, the ceilings are endless at this point. We're still so early in the season and so much opportunity for growth. So,
Nick Weber and Noah Kaiser at the stripe once again. Weber so far through the season, 68%. And Noah Kaiser at 62%. Weber will retain possession here. The pass trying to go for Caleb Johnson. Gracefully finds itself in the stick of O'Rourke. Max Kemp carrying, working against McNeely. Max Kemp, of course, the younger brother of former Hamilton Southeastern impact player Ryan Kemp, who went on to go play college ball as well. And Max is a player who has a couple years left to go, but he's one of these attackmen for Scott Beasley's team that has such a bright future and can make an impact immediately, as he's so far this year.
Yeah, similar to Kaiser, maybe he needs his brother to come in and coach him, show him a thing or two.
Right, yep, Noah Kaiser.
Bring in some more brotherly love to really boost us forward.
Yeah, Noah Kaiser's brother, of course, like you said, coaching this team, helping Noah a lot with the face-offs, former Guerin Catholic All-Star as well, as there's another turnover for Guerin Catholic on the clear.
Yeah, ran out of options there to go for the swing.
O'Rourke, quick shot. Zane Coda is there. And that bomb of a pass trying to get across, making Hamilton Southeastern players run into each other. Tyler Wildham.
A little bit of a headbutt there.
They get the touch, and Guerin Catholic begins their possession.
Yeah, I think after this quarter, they've got a really good opportunity to slow it down here, take some time on offense for themselves.
3 saves for Colin Kreckler thus far, unofficially. This is J.B. Ford, another player, young but making an impact for this team. That's Bear with a shot wide of the net. Guerin Catholics scoring 14.5 goals per game so far this season, giving up 4.5. This is their first real test of the season. You want to go play against, if you want to be the best, you got to play against the best. Part of the reason why they wanted to move up to Class 2A.
You said averaging 14 a game.
Right.
If history repeats itself, then we've got a pretty interesting game ahead of us here.
Right. Hamilton Southeastern, similar note. As that shot from Bear can't quite find the cage. Kreckler with the hustle play. But it stays with Guerin. Ford. Back behind the cage. He got his pass interfered with on his stick. Gets away from him there. And it's a turnover.
He's running it down.
Now HSE, yep.
Coast to coast.
Gastineau. Can he go coast to coast? Works around the crease. Thought about it at least. O'Rourke. We're going to get a step. Haven't seen a penalty yet this game. Both teams playing clean. Think about the impact that this would have for both teams. For Hamilton Southeastern, another chance to prove its dominance in Class 2A, trying to go for a three-peat this season. Of course, they're taking game by game. Now for Guerin Catholic, a win today would be huge to prove why they belong here in 2A. Shot. That one's off the face of Coda. Taken off the rails, as you said earlier. A fight for the GB. Somehow a shot got through there. I think that was Shane Gastineau.
Yeah, you know, taking it game by game is what you really want to do here. I mean, you don't want to have a hot head coming into the season, or else it could really bite you in the butt.
Guerin trying to clear.
Looking for it.
Have to beat the clock before the failure to advance. They have a chance here. Max Abel tries to get it up. And another timeout is called, again by Guerin Catholic. And Charlie Berry wanted to recoup his squad. And we'll take a break with him. You're watching IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At one point in my life, alcohol ruled supreme. It was not impossible for me to wake up just as drunk as before I went to sleep, and I use the term go to sleep loosely. I think on most nights it wasn't falling asleep, it was just passing out. There was no way I was getting out of it with my own willpower, so I decided to give Wheeler a try. And since my graduation from Wheeler's program, alcohol has not had any kind of hold on me whatsoever.
Hamilton Southeastern 2-0 so far. Guerin Catholic taking another timeout, trying to work in process with the clear Henry. And that's something where they've had a little bit of trouble so far in this first half.
Yeah, it is, and you know, I think from the midfield and the attack's perspective, if they're getting hogged on from their defenders, what's best is if they're just pulling a V cut and, you know, shooting back to the guy with the ball, so we can be an opportunity, at least pushing it up. If, you know, if the defender's going to come, at least you've got the opportunity to keep moving forward inch by inch. Anything you got to do. So
where is that V cut coming from? Is that from the midfielders?
Yeah, that's coming from, if you've got a defender, you know, you're going to drag them forward, cut back, create some space there for you.
Guerin's got to go here. An offsides call is the verdict. Caleb Johnson and Hamilton Southeastern have a chance to make it 3. Still looking for that open shot. They have one here if they want it. O'Rourke now working across the other way, and it's a goal for Hamilton Southeastern.
That was unfortunate for Guerin. They were caught in a little bit of a transition there. They were yellow holding back while they're waiting for another defender to come on, and it's good for HSC to really take advantage of that. You know, see the guy who's falling down and pass to him while they're waiting for the other defender to come in. So
David Gould is the goal scorer right at the door. Count the assist for Max Kemp.
A little pick-me-up Selly there, like Jack and Rose. See it?
No sinking involved. Gavin Wright working against Kaiser. Kaiser wins the initial battle. Can Guerin get that possession? They cannot. as Wright wins it, ends up winning it. Bear trying to be a thorn in the side of Shefferly.
Yeah, and Kaiser on these faceoffs has got a really fast hook technique. I mean, that was something we were looking at a little bit when I was playing, but we were still with motorcycle grip, you know, when you were down on one knee. Now you can't do that anymore. These rules changed. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but
believe last year.
Yeah.
Yep. Regardless, Hamilton Southeastern also taking a timeout, and we'll take one with them. We'll be right back here in IndianaSRN.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
Hamilton Southeastern trying to make it 4. Zane Coda with an athletic save. His 6th of the day, and another one. Statement save. He's made a couple great plays, but a big mistake for Guerin Catholic. Leads to the goal for David Gould.
One-on-one, not much you can do about that. And there's a little leap to avoid Zane there, it looked like. Kind of just sprung out onto the floor.
David Gould's 2nd goal of the day, 6th on the season. His young first season. They see it again here. Just a tough mistake in the clear for Guerin.
Yeah, they're really having troubles with these clears, unfortunately. Jeff will dive out of the way.
Kaiser and Wright working again. Guerin fighting for it.
It's the Easter egg hunt.
Right, 4-0.
We get that golden egg.
All the kids fighting. Getting the money. This is a Hamilton Southeastern team built on runs. 4-0 our count as O'Rourke dumps across. Almost a scoop.
Yeah, Hamilton's playing a lot behind X there. I mean, they really like their quick dump off to the corner, opposite side, or even a question mark dodge or whatnot. They've been playing a good amount of time behind there.
It was actually Owen O'Rourke trying to get it over to his brother Dylan, who's a long pole. Playing in transition like that, that would have been a heck of a goal. Giving a lot of trouble to Vince Elliott. Is Brody Carlson, and this is going to stay with Guerin. Here's Navarro. Dumps off behind the cage to Bear. Shefferly getting after him at X. Off the chase, draws the slide. Oh, ball falls out of the stick of Vince Elliott. That's a dangerous pass going back to Greckler in the crease, but Hamilton Southeastern recovers. This is Lucas Kress. David Gould can't quite get the handle off the hot potato and goes back to Guerin Catholic. 5 minutes to go here in our first half. HSE coming off its victory over defending 1A state champ South Bend St. Joe last Sunday. Also defeated South Oldham on Saturday. I think at Guerin Catholic here Wednesday night. Of course, the runners-up in Class 1A, but South Bend St. Joe and Guerin Catholic moving up to 2A this season was a big move for both those programs. Guerin has had some prominence in Class 1A, but finally moving up, a challenge that they wanted to take on for a long time. They won state 2 years ago. They go runners-up last year after a thriller of a game. Guerin was up as many as 4 goals last year before South Bend St. Joe came back in that fourth quarter to win it. Navarro dumping to Bear. Back up top, pass too high. This is going to trickle along. David Gould, full head of steam. HSE's got numbers, now back even.
Good face
and another
dodge.
save from Coda, but a rebound attempt goes for Max Kemp.
Sometimes funny how those balls find themselves just right back in your hand.
That's right. It's one of those things where you find, and in transition, sometimes it just the ball falls your way. Rebound opportunity goes for Max Kemp.
Kemp had a great face dodge there. Where you get a run back here. There we go. See ya.
It was a great save by Coda, too.
It was. It was an unfortunate rebound. Good pickup.
And this be another chance for HSC in transition. Gould's going to pull it back out.
There's a wind-up opportunity.
He did. He
decided against it.
O'Rourke. Coda with another save. And the senior headed to Merrimack. A D1 goaltender, always a luxury to have. At the door, though, another goal. Max Kemp back-to-back. And the throwbacks for HSC are looking good right now. 6-0 the count in the second quarter. 4 goals in this quarter alone.
Yeah, it was kind of a quick turnaround from the out of bounds there. It seems like it kind of threw our defense off guard. Everyone's spaced out, perfect for Kemp to just get the quick dump.
His 13th goal on the season.
You see a Guerin face-off win.
Yep, Kaiser gets it, but immediately they turn it back over. An intended target there, Vince Elliott. No, Jake Hack, rather.
Back and forth here a little bit. Oh, pushing the back maybe.
Yeah, the loose ball push is the verdict. Guerin Catholic will retain possession.
Let's see how they can do on this clear. Oh.
And another turnover plaguing
loss.
The Golden Eagles. Now O'Rourke and HSE. Can they take advantage of another mistake from Guerin Catholic in transition? This is Jack Neff. Now working behind X. Getting the step on the defender.
It's a repeated occurrence. Woo!
No goal.
No goal, but
David
boy, was
Gould.
that a shot.
Yeah, it was. That was a rip from David Gould.
Some top cheddar right there.
What could have been. Interfering on that clear, and the clearing troubles continue for Guerin Catholic. Gould with the hustle play.
Yeah, no, it's one of the hardest aspects is clears. If they could figure out a way to really nail this down, they're going to be.
Well, Gould, here he is again. Scooping up. Does he have a lane to try to go to the goal? He's going to wrap around the crease. He's had some smooth moves over the first few games.
Yeah, Gould also using that left there, you know. He can be running back and forth behind the crease, doesn't matter which way. He's aggressive, he wants it.
On the run, Neff beats one. Works the top shelf past Coda.
You know he's grabbing for a cookie on a cookie jar, baby. Top shelf.
Huge goal for Jack Neff and HSE. 7-0 the count. There's 95 seconds to go in this second quarter. How about this goal?
He said, wait. Bang.
Just Neff's third goal on the season. And the defender coming out there working stick first. The idea, but you want to follow through with the body, and he gets past him.
Yeah. And I got a cousin with the last name Neff.
Is he as good at lacrosse as Jack?
I don't think so.
No chance, right? No. Hamilton Southeastern rolling right now at the door. Coda, that was wide of the cage.
Is that it?
Max Kemp was at the door.
Max Kemp came and knocking, and Zane said, no, sir.
About 1:20 to go in the first half. And don't go anywhere at halftime. We will have a halftime guest interview with president of HSE Lacrosse, Doug Trott. That'll be a lot of fun to chat with him. Graham Ewing working up top. Takes that shot, and Zane Coda gets another save. For having let up 7 goals, he's already got 8 saves. Guerin Catholic still seeking its first goal. Can they find it before the end of the half? Coda's going to try to take it himself, maybe. They got to get ahead, but it's going to be a failure to advance. I think clearing may be the emphasis for Charlie Berry at halftime.
Yeah, we're seeing a trend start to form here, unfortunately, but
Gould,
there's still time.
Thought about it. Back up to O'Rourke. He's going to rip for 15 yards. Picked up by Gould. Final 15 seconds of play in the first half. Can Hamilton Southeastern extend to 8?
Oh, good move.
Gould.
Is that a...
Wraps around and gets it to go.
That through the legs, a little 5-hole there?
Nope, sure was. A hat trick now for David Gould. Big time plays from this freshman.
It's our big time plays.
Not typical for a player of his age.
He's playing like this now. I can't imagine what he's going to be doing in 4 years.
No doubt.
3 years. 3 and a little bit.
He's got this whole season ahead of him, too.
Yeah.
Face-off violation for Noah Kaiser. Seconds winding down for Hamilton Southeastern.
Bang.
At the end of the first half, the Royals lead 8-0. Henry, your first half impressions for both teams.
You know, HSE is playing great. You know, they're keeping everything controlled and keeping composure. Guerin has a lot of opportunity on offense. You know, when they get the ball down there, things are looking well, but it's just the problem of getting the ball down there. And so I imagine that our coach is going to be putting some emphasis on that, hopefully.
Yeah, Charlie Berry definitely be emphasizing how to get themselves across to the offensive end.
If they can figure that out, you know, this game's certainly not over. I mean, 8-0, you've seen worse. And come back and strike it out. So it'll be interesting to see what can happen. But, yeah, it's really killing them. It's really unfortunate.
Well, the halftime spirited, imploring their team to try to get ahead and get back into this thing if you're Guerin Catholic. Do not go anywhere. We have president of HSE Lacrosse, Doug Trott, on the way back. You're watching IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN.
Conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks. I'm trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid's solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
Yeah!
Come on!
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Hamilton Southeastern leads 8-0 over Guerin Catholic at the halftime break. I'm Joey Lindstrom, and I'm joined by President of HSC Lacrosse, Doug Trott. You were out here when it was when this field was covered in snow to try to get this team ready for Saturday and Sunday's games, right? I mean, that had to be, it was, what, negative temperatures?
Yeah, a little chilly. I was surprised to see the field covered in snow. We woke up with a message from our athletic director to let us know that the field was covered and the bleachers were covered, and we needed to get out here to make sure if we're going to get that game on, to take care of it, and a lot of support from all of our lacrosse families to get out here and get it, cleared, get the stands cleared, make it safe for everybody, and we pulled it off. And
you couldn't recruit any of the kids to come in and say, "Hey guys, wake up." You have a son on that team as well. He just got to get your boys going. Let's get all these guys out here.
They acted like they were helping, but it took the dads, but we got it done.
Very nice. So president of Hamilton Southeastern Lacrosse, what all goes into your role for the team?
Wow.
I know it's a lot. So, yeah.
Well, first and foremost, we have a great board that does a lot of the behind-the-scenes work to help, basically support the program.
Yep.
So a lot of it is the fundraising. It's there's we say on the board there's a cost to winning, and especially with all the out-of-state travel that we're able to do.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work that goes into that, with the fundraising and with the travel and setting all that up as far as hotels, buses, you name it. So it's just kind of that all-encompassing, behind the scenes, doing what we need to do to support the program and keep moving it in the right direction.
It's one of those things that's amazing because we always talk about growing the game here on IndianaSRN, and what better place to start than what Hamilton Southeastern is doing. And credit to you and your team, like you've been able to create an environment and with the help of Scott Beasley, a culture that really promotes what the sport should and what you guys envision for it to become here in the state.
Yeah, definitely, and that starts at the youth level. Our coaches are so invested with the mud sock program here locally in Fishers. Our coaches train their, like the new dad that may be coaching the 3rd and 4th graders, that type of thing. So we train their coaches to make sure that, they're teaching the kids properly. So those kids grow up wanting to come play here.
Yeah.
We have, the motto of the team is the "we, not me," mantra. And that starts then.
Yeah.
And it's the parents also. They're, excited to get here, help out, with the program, do what they need to do. And on top of that, we have a school that's invested into it. We're lucky that we have the support of the athletic department, to support lacrosse. With all that comes together, we're able to do what we've done the last few years.
And the bidding is still out for the state championships. You guys have hosted the last 2 seasons. Maybe give a little insight to the fans as to what goes into planning for a state champion, not only one state championship, but for 3 in a day. And that's got to be something.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into that, no doubt. It takes months of preparation as far as making sure we're staffed for it, a lot of volunteers, and that's, again, we rely on our youth program.
No doubt.
We have our high school parents that will volunteer, but also the youth program jumps in and helps out, so that's great. And then just all the logistics of it, putting all that together. Like you said, we have 3 games to worry about, and getting the fans in and out and everything. So it's an undertaking, but we've pulled it off the last couple years. We enjoy doing it, so it comes together, and we're there for the state if they need us, and willing to host. So.
And I remember there was 2 years ago it was 4 games now because we had an all-star game as well,
exactly.
And that is a definitely undertaking. When you look at this team, and your son Kai has battled some injury over the last few months, hopefully getting out here in mid-season. When you look at this team and what the program has become, and even from a broader scope of what it can become in the state, what kind of things are you high on for positivity when it comes to the sport?
The freshman class that just came in.
Yep.
I'll tell you now, is loaded. They are good. There's a class coming in behind them that are very talented. You're here seeing Max Kemp here tonight, sophomores. So there's a lot of good senior leadership that is on this team, but for them to succeed like they have the last couple years in winning state titles, they knew they were going to have to depend on some of the younger guys to step up and be ready to play, no matter what class they were. And they had, they've had in years past, they've had 20 some seniors. We don't have that this year, so it was going to take, no matter what it was, So we've done that.
Doug Trott is the president of Hamilton Southeastern Lacrosse. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, my friend.
We appreciate what you guys do for us.
No doubt. You were watching IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN. We'll be back for the second half of HSE Guerin.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
(8-0) the count. Hamilton Southeastern ahead of Guerin Catholic, getting you set for the second half of action. Alongside Henry Huth, I'm Joey Lindstrom. Producer tonight is Nick Lewis, and our cameraman is Chuck Levine. So far, so good for the Royals of Hamilton Southeastern. Leading goal scorers so far, Max Kemp and David Gould, each with a hat trick. Other goal scorers, Jack Neff and Owen O'Rourke. Zane Coda for Guerin Catholic, by our count, unofficially 9 saves so far, and Kreckler has 4. Guerin Catholic really hasn't been able to get it into the offensive end. You tied up that thought nicely at the end of the first half, Henry, where if they can just figure out to get across the midfield line, get a touch, they get back into system. They've had some good takes. Kreckler standing tall so far, but encouraging for Guerin Catholic as long as they get an offense.
Yeah, the mentality they have to be in right now is, 0-0 game. It's anyone's time now, so you can't worry about what the score is currently.
Gavin Berry and Hamilton Southeastern.
If they're going to come back, it's going to be brick by brick.
Hamilton Southeastern has a we not me mentality. You heard Doug Trott talk about that at halftime. Thank him a lot for coming up on to the broadcast.
Yeah, Doug is a knowledgeable guy.
Flipped on for HSC, working against Guerin out of system, and there's their first goal of the second half. Gavin Berry at the door.
Goal number 3.
Quick dump, and Guerin's getting attacked on the inside here. I think something that would be beneficial for them is to really rope it in here and not so much follow the people as far out as they're leading. It's kind of the bait that they're putting on their reel, and I think what would be beneficial for them is to really tuck it in. Not necessarily a zone defense by any means, but wait a little longer for them to pounce on the outside because they're really getting hit from the inside.
Be able to work inside to out defensively and create an opportunity for themselves to slide. Charlie Berry even mentioned we want to be able to slide early and often as Berry gets that one off to Owen O'Rourke. He's got some space. Coda's there for the save.
Yeah, if they tuck in around the goal, wait last second for these slides, they're going to come in quicker. They're going to be a distraction right in the HSC's face. And so hopefully they'll maintain that.
Well, fighting for it in transition. That would have been Guerin's first possession of the second half. They opened with a nice couple of possessions in the first half to open our game today. And we've seen a couple solid possessions, but just not quite the system that we're used to seeing with Guerin Catholic. But I think Charlie Berry was trying to implore his team at halftime. He said today, look, when it comes to HSC, we realize the talent that we're facing off against and the types of guys that we've seen. You know, a lot of these kids played against each other growing up. Some of them played with each other growing up. You know, Guerin Catholic not that far over in Noblesville here from Fishers. And this is also a Guerin Catholic team that still is trying to find its identity. Granted, they're 2-0. They've been able to get a couple good wins under their belt, this being the first big test of the day. And that was the big storyline coming in as Navarro works it ahead. And a great defensive play in transition. Dylan O'Rourke lost his stick, but a combination of him and Shefferly on defense, or rather Teddy Johnson. HSC running and gunning. Losing the handle on that catch was Graham Ewing. Coda recovers it and bounces it back to his teammate Wildham. Guerin Catholic needs to get over midfield to get to the 30-yard line and get a touch. We're in a lot of trouble from Gavin Berry.
Yeah, the one thing that Hamilton is doing really well is just constantly applying pressure on these rides. They know that this is something Guerin has to work on, and they're really taking advantage of it. You're seeing poke checks, you're seeing slashes right off the bat as soon as they're getting the ball in their hands, even from these defenders.
That was a big point of emphasis for both teams. Be able to ride in transition well, poke check when you need to. Hamilton Southeastern had 90 ground balls coming into this game. 30 ground balls per game over 3 games. It's just crazy how well they've been able to pursue and be aggressive, and you've seen that today as well.
One of the most important aspects of the game is those ground balls. That's declaring who's getting possession right off the bat.
Right. Jack Neff. It's an
Good
underneath.
dodge.
Berry bounces it home past Coda. His second goal of the day and his second of the half.
That's just a clean twist.
10-0 the count. Be running clock if HSE gets up by 12. And regardless of how you view that score, it was 2-0 at the end of the first quarter. Hamilton Southeastern really poured it on in the second, found their groove, and they're trying to compound on their efforts. O'Rourke, that X working against Abel, and gets it off to Kemp. Hamilton Southeastern donning the throwbacks. O'Rourke, bad angle shot, almost got that to go just over the cage.
Yeah, that angle was almost aggressive, but Kemp is doing a really good job of taking advantage of working right along the crease. You can see the defenders that he's coming up against are getting tripped up almost by the end of the goal. And something to be aware of, is knowing where your crease is, taking full advantage of that, pushing your defender as close to the goal as he can get.
And now when you're up by this margin, it's really about fine-tuning these fundamentals, right, for Hamilton Southeastern.
Yeah, and this is also a chance to let some of the other younger guys come in maybe, and the more reps they can get in an opportunity when you don't have much to lose is something very valuable that you don't often come into contact with.
That pass got away a bit from Lucas Kress. You saw a big hit from Graham Ewing after losing that ball. What do you like to see out of one of your underclassmen? Cross pass. Haven't seen too many successful clears yet today from Guerin Catholic. It's going to be a big emphasis in this second half. Dominic Elliott working ahead.
There we go.
Successful clear almost for Guerin Catholic. He lowered the shoulder. Ball jarred loose. Picked up by Brantman.
These Guerin crosses, I mean, these clears, they're working a lot on these long passes from one side of the field to the other. It might make more sense to have more people running it up.
Peyton Butts, welcome to the yard sale. Dylan O'Rourke. Kreckler just launching for this clear. Almost gets it to Shefferly. Those are beautiful when they're completed. But Hamilton Southeastern still will get it across. Need a touch here. Oh, man.
Shovel shot.
Max Kemp, his 4th goal.
Just bring it
Digging
down.
deep for it.
Just as close of a no look as you can get there.
That was beautiful. Look at this again.
Quick recovery.
Just inside. You can't get more precise than that spot right there.
He squeaked that in.
That he did. He took that after his brother Ryan a little bit. Regardless, HSE
back with the ball.
Back with the ball again, trying to compound. You know, you think about what this team brings. They have such an edge about them. Didn't have the hottest start today. Got their feet wet a little bit. And one thing Scott Beasley, he said, we don't need to necessarily start fast. We know the types of guys we have and our talent. It's amazing how well they've been able to perform with those high expectations with a relatively new lineup. And Kemp works top shelf.
It's a bit of an elevator.
Knocks the jar off.
Going up.
Man.
Started on the lobby floor, worked his way up.
And he did. 5th goal for Max Kemp. That makes 15 on the season. Talented team all over the place. He's a big reason why.
Right over the head of Zane.
Running clock. We have not had a penalty yet this game either.
What a clean game.
Very, very clean game. So clock will run and only stop for certain market occasions such as penalties. Another HSE face-off win, trying to be fancy.
The one for the behind the back.
Yeah, it was Ewing going behind the back.
BTB. Oh.
Goda.
Drop by Zane.
Yep. Sweeping underneath. He's got to try to ride by himself. Open cage. Ewing. And there is a penalty flag as he capitalizes on the goal.
Yeah, Guerin went for the headshot there on defender trying to grab the stick.
That's what we call broadcaster jinx.
Yep.
Said there was no penalties.
Look what
Very
you
next
did.
play. Look what we did. So see it here. You love to see the goalie confidence, but unfortunately not the time and place for him.
At this point, worth trying anything. Unfortunately, that seemed to just be an unfortunate situation.
Barrett Hahn is going to serve his time in the penalty box. Freshman yielding his first penalty of the season.
Both of these teams have the individual talent. You know, it's just unfortunate that they're coming up short. Guerin's coming up short on all of these 50-50 situations, whether it be the ground balls or the face-offs.
I think that's another thing Charlie Berry mentioned. He said, look, we have full opportunity to be as good as we want to be. He said we've had full participation in the offseason, in the preseason. Look at what we can become, but when you run into a team like HSE, this is what it takes. But I think there's a lot of bright spots you can take away from this. There's still a lot of time left to go. Berry.
There's a lot of time.
That shot rockets off the top post. But it'll stay with Hamilton Southeastern. O'Rourke rips wide of the cage.
There's a wind-up. It's nice to see that Zane is still he's doing his best. He's working, taking those sprints back to the goal line when they're missed opportunities. You know, he's not quitting. Oh.
Ball falls back to the midline, to the half-field line.
Try to kick it off to stay on their side.
Guerin Catholic will yield this possession.
You know what I always say, Joe? The time is nigh.
Really? I've never heard you say that.
Every once in a while.
Only when they have the headset on, I guess. Boy, tough defense results in a push with possession for Dylan O'Rourke. There's going to be 2 penalties. Likely served by number 1. Right does get the stick in the passing lane, but
yeah, Dylan's been
a man-up opportunity for Guerin Catholic. Go ahead.
Sorry. Dylan has been ruthless. He's following his offender, and he's making them know that he's right there with them the whole time.
Certainly making his presence felt. Yep.
And that's what's certainly doing a lot for them on defense. You know, it's just the constant rattle, constant peck, constant annoyance that they're dishing out is something to be really said about, and is very valuable from a defensive standpoint.
Well, he's made a big impact since he stepped foot on campus. He's just a sophomore, and last year he played long stick midfielder. And moving to close this year was not a huge transition. It's not always a huge transition for a pole, but it did give him an opportunity now to play better close defense versus always being in transition.
Yeah, you've got a whole other variable you no longer have to worry about.
No doubt.
With close D, that's your job. Don't have to worry about as much offense, about clearing. He's got one role, and so being able to put all that good talent to one thing has been really paying off for them.
Now for Guerin Catholic, in man up. What's the key here, Henry, for them to get their first goal tonight?
Well, it seems that they're really working on, bringing that second guy, drawing another for the quick dish to the side. Almost paid off for them right there.
Yeah, Navarro took that shot,
but just
taking in the shin when there was Caleb Johnson. That doesn't feel any better, no matter what the situation is.
Oh yeah.
Navarro ripped that one through.
Yeah, also leaning in, looking for the fake shot, for the quick pass that he can get off and cause some separation while you're on the man up. But unfortunately, came up with a loss here.
Empty possession on the man up opportunity for Guerin Catholic. Final 15 seconds in the third quarter.
A couple of Hail Marys they throw. They say, why not?
No doubt. Ewing picks it up. Another penalty flag is down. Takes it out of the box, and we'll see who that's on. Shefferly, I think, got checked in the shin.
Joe, you
He's a little bit shaken up. Yeah, I said no penalties, and also we've had three.
Three
this quarter. And we will see what that penalty is coming on the way back for the fourth quarter. You're watching IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Hamilton Southeastern 13-0 against Guerin Catholic. This broadcast is copyrighted by the IHSLA and IndianaSRN. The use of pictures, video, or audio without the express written permission consent of the IHSLA is prohibited. Alongside Henry Huth, Joey Lindstrom, this is a game where it started out, Hamilton Southeastern having a lot of fun, obviously built with the lead. Started out 2-0 at the end of the first quarter, and the Royals have exploded since. Now we're in the running clock territory. What does Charlie Berry's team need to do right now to get a little bit of momentum and get their first goal of the night?
Well, in situations like this, there's a lot of good to come out, and there's a lot of lessons you can learn. And when you're playing with people who might have the upend, it's the best way to learn. It's the best way that you're going to reflect and learn. So there's a lot of good opportunity here for Guerin when they're coming up in the season. Maybe if they're playing them again or some other good competition. It really, as much as you may not like it, it does emphasize and highlight the areas that you could really work on, and so that's good. It might be unfortunate in the moment, but having situations where it's really brought to light is going to be the best way for you to focus in and hone on those skills.
Now you got 12 minutes now in this fourth quarter to assert yourself a little bit. As Weber gets that face-off win, Guerin Catholic's going to head to St. Rita up in the south side of Chicago this weekend, which doesn't get any easier for their schedule. They'll then host Carmel on Tuesday, and then they'll visit DeSmet out in St. Louis the following Friday.
Yeah, for Guerin right now, they've got nothing to lose. It's all uphill from here, and so they've got no reason to be shutting down. It's just a good time to be either testing things or trying, experimenting, and really bringing that last bit of energy for this last quarter.
This will be another penalty for Guerin Catholic, this time on J.D. Haskett. And Guerin will be 2 men down.
Ouch. Adds insult to injury.
Now if you're man up for Hamilton Southeastern, you're trying to work it around, I assume. You've already built a substantial lead, clearly. What kind of are some things you think that you take away from this game if you're Scott Beasley, as Guerin just retains another man, so they're just 1 man down? If you're Scott Beasley, what are you emphasizing for your team as you move along in the early parts of the season? You had to Moeller on Saturday.
Yeah.
A very highly touted team out of Cincinnati. What comes to mind?
Yeah, when there's competition coming up, it's really good to allocate a lot more of your practice time to what you're looking on improving. And so I think obviously some aspects that they're going to spend a lot more time doing, and what Beasley's going to be really focusing in on is hopefully going to be a lot of these rides and clears, and continue with additional, not necessarily the face-off training particularly, but rushing in there and making sure that you're getting those ground balls when our face-off guys dishing it out, and just continuing to fight for everything, for every opportunity where it's a 50-50 ball, and putting everything on the line when you've got this opportunity to go and grab your possession.
Well said. HSE heads to Moeller on Saturday, as mentioned. Then we'll play St. Xavier on Sunday. Certainly doesn't get easier for this team. They'll then play Detroit Central Catholic next weekend and Forest Hill Central. A stacked schedule and for this team. Best way to test how good you are, play some of the best in the Midwest.
There's only one way to do it.
Right. And that's what they're in the position now to do. And playing out of state, too, that does help you a lot because it creates sort of a standard for you to live up to if you're not quite to where you want to be yet. And if you are at that point, you also test yourself in a lot of different ways.
And there's a lot of good opportunity for some good team bonding when you're on the road.
No doubt.
Those bus rides, some of the most memorable times. You're trapped with each other for 3 hours, and a lot of memorable times coming from travel situations.
Yeah, those are the best. Those are the best. Guerin's still searching for its first goal. The Golden Eagles have had opportunities, haven't been able to quite cash in yet.
I can feel it coming, Joe.
13-0, our count.
I can feel one.
Dominic Elliott, maybe Henry's right, trying to summon a goal for Guerin Catholic. Jake Hack can't quite handle that, and this will stay with the Golden Eagles. We are back to even strength, by the way. Just over 8 minutes to play here at Hamilton Southeastern. quick stoppage in play. I believe that's Jake Heck on the sideline, but he still was on the field of play. So Charlie Berry just needed to get him over.
Unfortunate.
So just no delay of game or anything, but certainly want to
just a news flash.
Keep the game moving, that's for sure.
The situation today has been good, though. Great weather here today.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful weather. Just it peaked at 52 degrees or so. Sunny. Perfect lacrosse weather.
I know you were out in a T-shirt almost.
Well, you came here no coat.
It was a risky move.
It was brisky.
Yeah.
It was brisk. The stands are covering up the sun.
Walking
HSC's
the
back on
dog
the run.
here.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
Dylan O'Rourke, yeah, all the lax lingo. Walking the dog's got to be up there on the list.
I think so.
Already had a couple. Beautiful move. And his 6th goal today. Max Kemp has exploded onto the scene. Got him for 2 assists as well.
You know what I want to see in this game here? A worm burner.
Oh, we almost had one earlier. I think Kreckler may have saved one. Kodum actually saved one too. But Max Kemp's 6th goal, and man, just putting on a clinic today.
Sees the double team. Quick turnaround. That's good.
I feel like it's so hard to defend some of these kids now. The offensive skill has just skyrocketed over the last few years.
It is, and especially after they've been expressing their interest to coach about, continuing to hit the gym and continuing to practice. They've been really improving on their physical peak and their athleticism.
Some of these kids
starting to really pay off.
Some of these kids have gotten interest. A lot of these kids have gotten interest from collegiate programs to go on and play. You get yourself in position to go do that. Some have chosen other paths. You have several who will be playing post-collegiately eventually as underclassmen. You have Owen O'Rourke headed to the Naval Academy. Caleb Johnson headed to West Point.
Yeah, that just goes to show the talent that's on this field today.
Right, and talent in other areas too.
Doesn't matter where you are. That's true. It doesn't matter where you are. But
this Jack Fisher, long stick midfielder, is a penalty from HSC. Another hit.
Yeah, that was a little aggressive.
Eli Brantman, the short stick defensive midfielder, one of the seniors on this team. It's going to be 2 penalties on Hamilton Southeastern as the clock continues to roll.
Yeah, as you said, West Point Naval Academy, you got to have it all.
Boy, big thump there from Eli Brantman.
Big thump.
So it's going to be an unreleasable for Hamilton Southeastern. Just 1 man down. And Guerin Catholic still seeking its first goal. 4.5 to play.
It's going to come.
Headed to St. Rita on Saturday, hosting Carmel on Tuesday. They defeated Fishers last Wednesday, and Evansville Memorial this Saturday. 15-1 against the Fishers Tigers and 15-8 against Evansville Memorial. So 1 win in 2A already under their belts. Evan Bear working against Dylan O'Rourke. See HSC rocking untraditional uniforms, or rather their throwbacks, donning the white, blue, and reds, the accents.
Yeah, I didn't know red was...
Pretty sweet look.
Red was a school color.
For them?
Yeah.
Yeah, not anymore, but the throwback, because this is throwback night.
The retro.
This is the retro.
Oh, that's good.
Well, losing the handle on it was Mason Wright. This is now Guerin in transition. They got even numbers almost, not anymore. Now Guerin needs to get back on offense as McNeely tries to drive it through he gets the touch, but they turn it over.
Guerin's got a real opportunity here. This unreleasable man down.
Right.
Hopefully they'll be able to take advantage of the situation.
And might be able to here. Drawing that ball loose from Dylan O'Rourke.
Yeah, they're continuing to add the pressure, especially on man down. So,
well, the way this game started, it definitely felt like that was an emphasis for Charlie Berry's squad. Ball was tipped, so it's going to stay with HSE. 2.5 to play. Remind you, we will have a ton of IHSLA coverage this season on IndianaSRN. Also have Butler Women's Lacrosse.
Oh, yeah. Go Dogs.
Max Kemp working up top, content with holding this ball and working it around. Yeah, a lot of fun being able to cover lacrosse in the state of Indiana. And not only that, some of the best the state has to offer.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to see the growth of Indiana in the lacrosse world. I remember my friends a couple years ago, they were talking about how significantly they've seen it grow with their, particularly in their case, younger brothers.
Yeah.
And how when it was their time, they were some of the trailblazers, almost. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but
almost. Well, there's been a lot of good lacrosse to come through the state, but now to finally have a little more recognition, at least over the internet, and getting the premise of having games live stream as David Gould, rather.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. And you and I are both from Chicagoland area, where lacrosse rose to prominence a little bit over the last few years, and it's been a lot of fun to see the growth just in the Midwest in general, but in the state it's a lot of fun to see.
Yeah.
Final minute of play. HSE has been in firm control since the start. They were up just 2-0 at the end of the first quarter as Coda works out of the crease against Graham Ewing. Guerin Catholic hasn't quite been able to get its footing all together as there's a rip from the top.
There's a step down.
John Pauls. 15th goal for Hamilton Southeastern on the day. And his second of the year. And with the seconds winding down, you see that goal getting the better of Coda.
What is it?
And his theme music?
Is that, yeah, is that a... I don't, yeah, it did sound like O Canada.
I don't know the affiliation. Regardless, HSE 15-0. A win over Guerin Catholic. Welcoming the Golden Eagles to 2A play, but the Royals, incredible from start to finish, Henry.
It is. I mean, they did everything they needed to well, and they did it with heart. They were aggressive. They took advantage of every possible situation they could, and that's what's really going to set you apart from your competition is how much fight you've got. And, yeah, they really performed.
An excellent effort from both sides. Get the Guerin Catholic goal counts. Gavin Berry with 2, Owen O'Rourke with 1, Max Kemp 6 goals to lead all scorers. Jack Neff with 1, David Gould with a hat trick of his own. And Scott Beasley's team moves to 4-0. Charlie Berry's team falls to 2-1. Henry, great job tonight.
Thank you very much.
Excellent working with you, my man.
Of course.
So
it's
for
always
Nick
a pleasure.
Lewis, our producer, for Chuck Levine, our cameraman, I'm Joey Lindstrom saying so long from Hamilton Southeastern, where the final score, the Royals 15, the Golden Eagles of Guerin Catholic 0. We will see you next time here on IndianaSRN for all lacrosse coverage in the IHSLA. This has been a presentation of IHSLA Lacrosse on IndianaSRN.